Okay, something weird's going on. First EA released a game without microtransactions and one that's actually good by all accounts in Star Wars Jedi The Fallen Order. Then I wake up this morning to find that Valve has announced that they're working on a Half-Life game. Yeah, you heard me right. A Half-Life game. I don't believe it either. What the hell's going on? I know I watched Man in the High Castle last night and that people cross between realities in that programme, but I'm starting to think that I may actually have crossed over into another reality myself. This can't be real, can it? The last time Valve put out anything significant relating to Half-Life was 2007 with Half-Life 2 Episode 2. October 2007 to be precise. That's 12 years ago. My kid wasn't even born, and I may actually have still had some hair. Most of us gave up on seeing an announcement like this years ago. The announcement itself came in a tweet last night, and I was in bed at the time, so I didn't read it then, but I, as I say, woke up this morning to find that Valve were tweeting about Half-Life, and this is what they said. We're excited to unveil Half-Life Alyx, our flagship VR game, this Thursday at 10 AM Pacific time. Can't wait to share it all with you. And that was it. It's a VR game, as they say, and we're going to be getting more information on Thursday. And if I'm being honest, I'm a little bit disappointed that it's not Half-Life 3. But, well, there have been rumours floating about for a couple of years about Valve possibly working on a Half-Life game for VR. So it's not that surprising that they've gone in that direction. And I have to say that the title's quite interesting. Half-Life Alyx. That suggests to me that maybe the game's going to have Alex Vance as the main protagonist rather than Gordon Freeman. And yeah, I'm in two minds about that because on one hand it's cool and on the other it's disappointing because Alex was one of the main characters in Half-Life 2. And for my money, she could easily fill a main role. She could be the main protagonist and I'd be quite happy. I really don't have a problem with Alex as the main character. But that could also mean that Gordon's story is going to remain unfinished. And, you know, I don't know, will we see Gordon in this game at all? Maybe we will, maybe we won't. Maybe he'll play a bit part. If he does play a bit part or he doesn't feature at all, there are going to be a lot of Half-Life fans who are going to be extremely disappointed, and I'll be one of them, and I'm not the sort of person who starts throwing his toys out the pram over stuff like this, and I probably would still play the game, but it would be a little bit disappointing if we don't have more relating to Gordon. The other thing is that obviously VR's not exactly a mainstream gaming platform at this stage, and I know a lot of people like VR, and I know a lot of people play VR, but it is still very much a niche, especially with PC. I mean, the PlayStation VR is a fairly easy entry to VR, but I can't imagine this game will come onto PlayStation VR. Maybe it will, but I would imagine that Valve will try and keep it to Steam. And while Steam is massive, and a lot of people who have PCs have Steam on those PCs and will have access to the game via Steam, most of those people won't have VR. So they may not even get to play this game. And that would be extremely disappointing because you're taking a game that has a massive following and was a huge franchise at one time, and you're turning it into a niche. And as I say, for me, that would be a bit of a disappointment. The flip side of that, though, is that this could actually help to drive VR. As I say, Half-Life was a phenomenon on PC and it went on to appear on consoles and practically on your toaster, and it was all over the place. And in fact, the Orange Box is still, even now, one of the best deals to ever appear in gaming. People loved Half-Life and people loved Valve when they delivered such a value for money proposition in the Orange Box. And if Valve can generate enough interest for this game, it could, as I say, really drive VR forward and become a showcase for what can be done with VR. And for me, I'm certainly thinking about how I could go about obtaining VR so I could just play this bloody game. I am that excited for it. If it turns out to be good, I will want to play it even if it's on VR. So it could help to drive VR. Obviously, I'm only one person and I'm a bit weird in as much as I like to buy a lot of tech. But it could help to drive VR, especially if you can bring the prices of VR down and you've got a game like that that's screaming at people, play me, because it's that good. Valve are certainly trying to push the idea that this is going to be more than just some small little tech demo when they say that it's a flagship VR game. And so, this could turn out to be a big deal. But we don't know. And it could be a good game, it could be a crap game. And it could just be an excuse for Valve to cash in on the Half-Life name and try and get a game out there on VR that people recognise. Because even now, the Half-Life name has a lot of brand recognition. I honestly don't know. I hope that they really are going with this idea of a flagship VR game. And I hope that it comes out, it's a great game, and it is a kind of AAA game. And if that happens, who knows? If it sells well, it might even lead them to going on and making Half-Life 3. I'm certainly more confident that we may see more Half-Life games now than I was yesterday when I went to bed. Hopefully, we'll know more on Thursday. But for now, colour me excited. It's Half-Life. Why would I not be excited? Half-Life is one of my favourite franchises of all time. So, please, Valve, do a good job. Please don't ruin the name Half-Life. Let us have a decent Half-Life game in VR and maybe give us Half-Life 3 down the line. That'd be fantastic. But anyway, that's me done. Let me know what you think of this in the comments. Are you excited for Half-Life VR? Do you think we might now finally get Half-Life 3? Could it be possible? As I say, let me know in the comments. And I'm going to go and get myself a cup of tea. And I'll speak to you guys in the next one. Bye.